Update. Am I the a-hole for terrorizing my brother, making him live in his own filth? Original post. My brothers are all pigs. We had a very traditional house where girls cleaned and washed dishes from the time we were old enough to walk and stand on chairs, and my brothers never did anything. As adults, they cannot even turn a washer on. I very much resented how I felt like I had to raise my own father, and how holidays and weekends were always spent with my brothers and dad, laying around and us cleaning. Even on Christmas, they got to play with their toys while we went into the kitchen. I do not care about excuses like I was never taught. We are all adults now, and they can YouTube and Google whatever they do not know. I learned how to patch walls, change tires, change oil, etc. All the gendered stuff I was never taught, so I do not see why he can't as well. My brother got put out by his girlfriend after they had their first kid because he does not help with anything. Since staying with me, I have forced him to do stuff. When he first moved in, my house went from my tidy, clean utopia to a disgusting mess. He would spit sunflower seeds on the floor, hide his food and dirty dishes around the house, spit chewed gum behind the coffee machine, feet from the trash can, hide snack food everywhere, smoke on the toilet, and put cigarettes out on my floor, which is a slap in the face as I asked him not to smoke inside because I do not smoke. Leave his dirty clothes everywhere, even on the living room floor, etc. Even when he ordered food for himself, he would eat at the table, then leave it for me to put away. Anytime he took anything out of the fridge, he would leave it on the table, and would often leave the fridge open. I am not joking. I found maggots 3 times from his mess. I lost it and told him to change his behavior completely or get out. Well, he started doing stuff, but as badly as he could. He would put bowls in the dishwasher so they would be filled with nasty water, mop with the same water for days on end, leaving it smelling of rot, do his laundry by putting it in the washer and leaving it for me to finish, put food away by throwing it all over the fridge and spilling it everywhere. The best was when he put the syrup away upside down on the top shelf with no lid on, coating my entire fridge in syrup that took hours to clean. Then he would say, "I'm trying, you're just being a bitch." I lost my temper and I knew I couldn't leave him on the street, so I divided the house. The cabinet doors all have locks from the previous owners, so I got him some dishes from Goodwill and forbade him from using any of mine, so he's eating off his filthy dishes. I made it very clear that anything left on the floors, clothing, etc., gets a 1-day grace period, then it will be thrown away. Same with the few dishes he has, as he would leave them in the sink until they started to grow mold. I started locking my bathroom door and he has to use the one in the basement, which I refuse to clean. If his clothes are in the washer for more than 8 hours and I need to use it, I dump them, wet, on his bed. Any trash he leaves lying around goes on his bed. If he orders food and leaves his leftovers, I leave them to rot. Then they get thrown away, though twice the idiot has left food out overnight and came out and started angry eating it while glaring at me. Both times, the idiot got food sickness. He destroyed my fridge again by putting juice in upside down with the lid barely on, once again ruining my food, so I mopped it up with towels and dumped the towels and all my ruined food on his bed, then put a lock on the fridge. He hates me and says I am terrorizing him. I say I was forced to mother him as a child, but was never given the parental control to actually teach him how life works. And since my brothers used my childhood to treat me like a maid, I will no longer parent them. My view is, some lessons have to be learned painfully. I will not gentle parent a grown man who cannot close a fridge door. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Ages? Whose house is it? Why haven't you kicked him out already? I am 30, he is 33. This is my house. I guess family is family just got beat into my head a lot. Your parents are real a-holes. It's one thing to teach girls to cook and not boys. But putting cigarettes out on the floor inside the house? Hiding chewed gum in your own home? That's bizarre. Were you as a girl expected to scrub their backs in the shower and wipe their butt too? How did your brother not learn basic decency or home hygiene? It really sounds like he is terrorizing you. For holidays and birthdays, you should get your brother books on how to maintain a home, clothes, hygiene, and so on. When he complains, invite him to leave and give your brother a get-out date, not the a-hole. You are not going to believe this, but one time I did 10,000% get grounded because my brother got cysts on his butt from not cleaning, and my mom said I needed to set a better example for him. Spits on the floor? Your brother doesn't deserve to live among civilized people at all. Good God, how was he raised with this level of contempt for everyone else? He has always been this way. Our parents got him in the Big Brother program, hoping some guidance would help him, and he stole his big brother's wallet, then cried about being abandoned when the poor guy dropped him. Mini update. So just to update everyone, things came to a head today. I had to work the early shift and had a session with my table tonight at 6. I'm DMing a few D&D games. I begged my brother to keep the living room clean. I came home and the house was more than trashed. I mean, it looked like a bomb went off. He even dropped a cup of milk on the floor and left it. I flung the whole milk jug at his head and screamed at him to GTFO. He tried to bulk up to me and I lost it, screaming "get out" over and over. And I guess he saw how unhinged I was because he stormed out. I cleaned up the milk, then jumped online to message everyone to cancel and saw the 700+ notifications. You all gave some really solid advice, and I knew reading the replies last night that this was over. I was going to give him a few weeks, but seeing that milk all across my new floor was the last straw. I don't know where he is going. I don't care. Thank you all. Now for the full update. To start, I know a lot of people seemed incredibly perplexed that I even allowed this. To that, all I can really reply is that I grew up in a very toxic environment. They are Mormons, and not the modern kind. When I was a kid, I was not allowed to wear pants. In my childhood, if you asked a man to clean, you would be looked at like you were insane. And if you got mad at a man for being messy, it would even be implied you could possibly be spiritually corrupted for attacking the original design. Obviously, after I left the church, I understood that things are different, but I am not as healed as I thought. I obviously need a lot more therapy. I also got a few messages asking why I didn't include that I am autistic in my post. This is just because it is not relevant. The actual update, my brother is MIA. For anyone who missed it, the day after that post, I came home to a trashed house and a glass of milk spilled on the floor that had obviously been there for a while. I lost it and lugged the milk jug at his head, thankfully missed, and screamed at him over and over to get out. He tried to square up to me, but I screamed so loud it was hard to talk the next day. I think he got the hint then and took off, almost ripped my door in two doing it. I had to replace a hinge. I know some people wanted me to sue him, but during this whole situation, I was confronted with a health scare. Just some weird-looking moles, but I am still worried, so I do not want to deal with that. He left, get this, and went to the house of his 19-year-old girlfriend. Apparently, he met this girl when she went to the bar for her 18th. I had no idea this was going on, but all my brothers did. To recap, he had a baby with his girlfriend of 8 years this month. I told them all to get lost. When Mom messaged me crying because no one knows where your brother is, he just left with some girl, I told her I do not care. I did call me crazy, message the girl to tell her he is bad news, but she called me a crazy C-word and blocked me. I also messaged the girl's mom who seems worried, but basically said she cannot do anything because her daughter is legal. I guess they took off and skipped town and won't tell anyone where they are. Outside of worry for this girl, I do not care. I am too busy chilling with his ex and my wonderful niece. I am going to take care of my health and focus on my life. I hope that you have actually taken those actions against your brother and that you will never allow anybody else to walk all over you. Kudos to you and your new backbone. I actually wish more and more that I had been taking pictures so I could prove I am not lying, because it is so unreal. After reading all the comments, I kind of woke up and now it's like, girl, the heck were you doing? So nice to read a positive update. Enjoy your peace and clean house. Hope it's clean. Sounds like lots of work to fix. My friends all came over and we had a cleaning party. The basement toilet was the worst, as that was the only area I was not monitoring. I mean, it was horrific. I sprayed bleached all over every inch of that room. Did you change all of your locks and get a good security system? I put on a new padlock. He wouldn't hurt me, but I 100% could see him robbing me. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my brother I'm not going to advocate for his wife to be included more when she's rude to mine? My wife, 32 female, is very close to my 33 male family. We were childhood best friends, high school sweethearts, and we've been together for 18 years now. They've known her all that time, and my mom adores her. They're incredibly close. Actually, my mom has a good relationship with all but one of her children's partners. My younger brother, Aiden, 29 male, and his wife, 27 female Jem, are the exception. Aiden married Jem last year. They dated for a couple of years before that. At first, we all got along pretty well with Jem, but she suddenly started being a prick to my wife. It started with very subtle comments that my wife said were nothing, and that I was just overreacting. While others would joke that my wife was mom's favorite kid, Jem would sound bitter and jealous about it. Then her comments turned mean. The jokes, which were never very frequent, stopped after that, but Jem would bring it up anyway. Then it became comments about how exhausting it must be for my wife to have so many people who want her time and attention. Those were sparked by my siblings' partners also getting along with my wife, not to mention my mom and wife hanging out, and the fact that my wife and I have kids together. I asked Jem what her problem was, spoke to Aiden one-on-one as well, and others spoke up in defense of my wife. Jem's biggest issue has always appeared to be my mom and my wife being close. I don't know why it drives her crazy, but it does. Now Aiden's frustrated because Jem isn't included the way my wife and the other partners are. The fact that mom will do outings with her daughters-in-law and Jem isn't invited, or that my wife will do girls' stuff with the women in our family, but she doesn't invite Jem anymore because eventually she got sick of Jem's nonsense too. She was better than me at brushing it off for a while, but I think anyone would get annoyed by someone always treating them like crap. So Aiden came to me hoping I'd advocate for Jem to be included. He said she just feels left out and wants to be included. I told him she has a funny way of showing it. He said she knows she messed up, but to give her another chance. For him. I told him I'm not going to advocate for his wife's inclusion when she was so rude to mine. I told him he needs to get Jem to make it up to everyone and work toward her inclusion, or else she's staying an outsider. I told him I get that his loyalty is with his own wife, but mine will always be with my wife. He told me someone on our side needs to try, or Jem will feel like she's wasting her time. I told him it's not on me. He tried to pull some brotherhood crap, and I told him to knock it off and accept my answer. Obviously, he hates that. My wife said she'd have no problem if Jem apologized and actually stopped with her comments, and she's glad I told Aiden what Jem needed to do. Aiden keeps telling me I was a prick and could have done more. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. He told me someone our side needs to try, or Jem will feel like she's wasting her time. So Jem wants to put in zero effort to atone for her crappy attitude. She expects everyone else to grovel at her feet, and she also expects everyone to believe she's changed and realized her mistakes. Got it. Not the a-hole. She's tried nothing and is all out of ideas? She's tried nothing and wants the easy way out, where she doesn't have to do a thing but show up and be included like she wants. Not the a-hole. You're absolutely right. Jem created this situation, and it's on her to fix it. Nobody is obligated to include someone who has been consistently rude, especially when she hasn't even apologized. Your wife gave a fair and reasonable condition. If Jem truly wants to be included, she should own up to her behavior and make amends. Aiden trying to guilt trip you into advocating for his wife instead of holding her accountable isn't fair. Brotherhood doesn't mean enabling bad behavior, and you're prioritizing your wife as you should. If he wants things to change, he should be having this conversation with Jem, not you. Not the a-hole. Jem is a pain. She started this mess and it's on her to fix it. Why would you want to include someone who's rude all the time and is unpleasant to be around, and on top of that, won't even apologize for their behavior? Just because he's your bro doesn't mean his wife's bad behavior is okay. You've done the right thing and defended your wife. Last story. Am I the a-hole for taking all my mom's photos from Dad's house and asking his new wife why it's any of her freaking business? My dad got married last month, and his wife only moved in a week after the wedding. They were long distance for 3 years. I, 17 male, still live at home for now, but I plan to move out this summer. When my dad's wife moved in, she told my dad she didn't want to see any photos of my mom around the house, that it was supposed to be her home, and she could not make a home with those memories on display. She needed to know she was his wife, not just his second wife. So the photos came down. My dad was going to store them, so he offered to let me take whatever photos I wanted since they just gathered dust, according to him. I took them all. Not some, not one or two. I took them all, and my grandparents are keeping them safe for me. Dad's wife had no issue with me taking the ones I wanted until I wanted them all. Then she asked me why I was taking them all, and I asked her why it bothered her so much. She said one or two made sense, but it felt like a big FU to her that I was taking all of them and couldn't stand the idea of the others going into indefinite storage. I told her it sounded like she was planning to throw them out once our backs were turned, and she got mad and told me I was insulting her by taking them all. I got mad and asked her why it was any of her freaking business, and who was she to tell me what I can and can't do. My dad told her I was told I could take whatever, and she said she hadn't realized I'd take every one of them. Then she said I insulted her in her own home and asked my dad why I had such an attitude toward her. I told her she was the one who interfered when she wasn't asked to. That became another fight, and Dad told us to cool off. She's still annoyed that I took them all and still feels like it was a FU to her. She also said I was beyond rude to curse at her and ask her why it was her business, as if to say she doesn't also live here and isn't my family now. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Those pictures are pictures of your mom. They have no relevance to her. She wanted them gone. Now that they're gone, she's throwing a hissy fit. It's actually not about the pictures. It's about control. You're absolutely right. She was going to throw them away. Because again, this is about control. She wanted to control the narrative about what happened to them. If she controlled the narrative, then you got the ones she wanted you to have, the rest went to file 13. She was fine with them being gone until she realized she couldn't control how it happened. It's not even about the photos. It's about her wanting to control the whole situation. She's insecure, not you. If a few photos made her feel like just a second wife, that's a her problem, not yours. She is his second wife, and her referring to just his second wife shows her insecurity, which is her problem and not yours. Not the a-hole.